Hola mi gente, hope everybody's doing well. And today I wanted to switch things a little bit. I know that we're always talking about being healthy and eating right, but we need a treat sometimes. And today I decided that we're gonna make chocolate chip peanut butter cookies. Yes, I'm very excited. I hope you're excited too. Now, of course, you know, I am going to use it with the ingredients that I saw. I found the recipe online. Don't judge me. But if you're feeling a little weird about eating sugar or anything like that, there's always ways to replace those ingredients. And of course, you could always look that up. But today we are going to make ourselves a little treat. You know, it's sometimes better to make them yourself than to buy them from stores anyway, because, you know, you don't want all of those preservatives and everything. So let's get started. First, we're going to introduce all of the ingredients and we'll jump right to it. Okay, we're going to need 2.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1 cup of unsalted butter, 2 cups of peanut butter, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla, 2 large eggs. All right, so we are going to start by putting together all of our dry ingredients. We're going to take the 2.5 cups of flour and we're going to mix in the baking powder, the baking soda, and the salt. And we're going to whisk them together. Make sure they're nice and mixed. And once we're done, we're going to put this to the side and move on to the next step. Well, now we're going to cream some butter. We're going to take the butter, we're going to mix it with the sugars, and we're going to put it using our hand mixer or a standard mixer like the one that I have. You're going to use the paddle attachment, and we're going to in medium speed we're going to cream the butter. Now, like I said before, we're going to need a cup of unsalted butter. I actually use salted butter, but that's my preference. You could use whatever you want, but I prefer salted. The recipe says unsalted. It's on you. Make sure that everything is there. And to this we're going to add our sugars, which is, like I said, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, nice and mixed there, and our regular sugar, 1 whole cup. Okay, put this to the side. Open our mixer. Make sure everything is nice and tight because, you know, these things are pretty strong. And in medium speed, we're going to make sure that everything is nice and creamy. Once the butter is creamy, we'll stop and continue to the next step. But in the meantime, let's give it at least 3 minutes in order for it to froth and get nice and fluffy. All right, now while the butter is being fluffed and it's being creamed, make sure that you scrape the sides to mix everything correctly. You don't want pieces of butter just scrambled around in the cookies. So stop it for a moment. Open it up. See, the consistency is really nice, and it's like if it was sugar butter, but it's actually what it is. But make sure that all of these pieces that are on the side, like right now, look, you see there's a big piece of butter. You don't want that. You want to make sure everything is nice and mixed. Bring it down. Make sure it's all at the bottom so it can mix properly. So with your spoon, make sure you scrape it. Get all of that butter in there. You need it. Okay, so now we go back and continue. Make sure you lock it. Perfect. Okay, so our butter is ready. Now we're gonna put the eggs in. Now remember, you want to make sure that the eggs shells do not fall in there, so it's best to actually crack them away from where you're mixing. It's actually best to put them in a container, but we're not going to do that right now. And slowly, one at a time, put the 2 eggs in. Very good, very nice. And we're gonna now mix on high for at least a minute to make sure everything is nice and incorporated. And after that, we'll be back. Alright, mi gente, the butter and the mixture, it seems to be perfect now with the egg mixed in and everything. Now we're gonna mix in the peanut butter and the vanilla. So again, we're gonna stop this. First, we're gonna make sure it's off, unlock it, get your spoon, scrape everything to the bowl. Don't leave anything on the paddle because all of this is gonna be used. So don't waste anything. And you wanna make sure that it actually mix evenly. So make sure everything falls in properly. Okay, scrape everything from the side. It smells really good. And this is just butter. So let's see. We're gonna put in the 2 teaspoons, I'm sorry, of vanilla in. Now these are all gonna be the wet ingredients, and then after that we'll do the rest. And our peanut butter. Now the peanut butter is been sitting outside, so it's nice and soft, so it should be able to come in properly. So let's try to not make a mess. Never actually done this like this, but it looks like it's working. Look at all that peanut butter. Now you have a choice. You could use chunky peanut butter. You could use what is it? Smooth peanut butter. I prefer the chunky. I like the little pieces of peanuts. So it's on you. But we'll put all of that peanut butter in there. Remember, I'm gonna have the directions in the actual recipe on the comments or down below, however they say it. And now we mix again. Always be careful. We're gonna mix. Oh my god, this smells so good. Let's see. Now you're mixing on medium, you're not mixing anymore on high. When you did the eggs, you did it on high. This is medium, okay? You don't want to break anything, or you don't want to make this too heavy for the paddle. We'll give it a nice, at least a minute, to make sure that everything is nice and mixed. And once this is done, we'll be back. Okay, mi gente, everything seems to be going nicely. Everything is mixed, and now we're going to bring in our dry ingredients. So first, like I said, we're gonna be very careful. Make sure everything is off. Lift. We're gonna, oh my god, the smell. It smells so good. I'm gonna show that everything is in the bowl to mix it. Oh man. Fitting hot raw egg. I will be taking little samples. Alright, so make sure everything is nice and scraped from the side. Everything has to be centered so that way it could mix properly in the bottom of the bowl. Okay. Okay, so that's there. Now we are going to do the mixing of the dry and the wet ingredients on low. You don't want this going crazy and just throwing flour everywhere. Your kitchen will be a mess. So very slowly, we're gonna start spooning in the dry ingredients. We're gonna start first with it off and slowly. Is it locked? Yes. We're gonna put it on. I have it on 1. So slowly, as it starts mixing, we'll be throwing more and more in there until we completely pour the whole dry ingredient in there. Okay. Oh my god, the smell is so good. And again, like I said, this is supposed to be a snack that you could indulge sometimes. You don't have to necessarily be eating, fruits and vegetables all the time. Just, sometimes make it easy on yourself and take a little snack. And my family loves this stuff. They love when I bake cookies and stuff like that. But for you, take 1, maybe 2. It's not gonna be bad for you. And again, anything homemade is better than store-bought. So we're almost there. Again, be careful because like you saw, everything comes up if you do it too fast. Smells amazing. You gotta time it right because this thing is just popping. In between, make sure that you scrape the side of the container and of the bowl. So make sure that everything is in the middle, so because it's still mixing. So again, stop it. Bring it back up. Look at that. You can see all the chunks of peanuts and everything in there. So good. But you also have a lot of flour on the side of the bowl and you don't want that. So let's try to get rid of this real quick and bring back down everything so that it could continue mixing properly. Yum, 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 yum. So that's more flour that is falling off the paddle. Make sure everything comes down. Don't fall, don't go away. You're gonna be my next cookie. All right, now let's bring it back down. Now that everything is nice and centered, lock it. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna continue with the flour. We're almost done. And again, little by little, because you don't want flour just flying everywhere. There is an actual piece that you could put on your mixer that you could just feed all of your ingredients in without everything spilling everywhere. I had it. I think I broke it. But either way, it's all the same. You still put in the ingredients in there. Okay, so again, slowly. And if you're baking and you're cooking and you're not making a mix, you're not really cooking or baking. So, time to get some mixing and some ingredients all over the place. So this is the end of it now. See if I could just put it in there. Hey, perfect. All right. Now with this done, we're gonna try to speed it up a little bit because it seems to be, it's a very thick dough. So you're gonna want it a little bit stronger. Not so strong. Just to make sure that everything goes well and mixed well. Again, you stop because you see, as you can see, it's already coming up from the side. Make sure that everything is back down. Everything is nicely mixed already. As you can see, it's a beautiful dough. Very hearty. And definitely a lot of cookies are going to come out of this. It's a lot. Alright, so again, push everything back down. Make sure everything gets nice and mixed. Mix. Bring it down. Alright. One more. I'm going to go around one more time. And after that, we may just start after that we'll go to the next step. See you in a bit. Okay, so we are ready for the next step, which is of course the adding of the chocolate chips, which I have right here. 2 cups, remember, semi-sweet. Again, you could replace these as well if you don't want to use chocolate because you're feeling a certain way, you want to stick to a diet. There are a lot of things that you could use instead of chocolate chip. that are less calories. So you can find your substitute. I like my real chocolate chips, so we're gonna do that. Now you're gonna set your mixer. Make sure you have already scraped the side of the bowl. Everything is centered. It's gonna look very thick. It's a very thick dough, so don't get scared if your machine starts doing a little wobbly thing. Just put it on low, slowly, let it mix. It's gonna do it. Okay, and little by little start adding your chocolate chips. This is just literally just to mix them in. So look at that. Wow. There you go. And of course, you know, anytime you combine chocolate chips and chocolate and peanut butter, I think it went too hot, too fast. It's a good mix. All right. Okay. Again, we're gonna make sure that everything goes down because you don't want anything spilling over. And like I said, this is going to be a very thick mix. So make sure everything goes a little lower so that it mixes properly. And again, turn it on one more time. Make sure everything is nice and mixed. And from what I see here, everything, the chocolate chips are all the way to the bottom, so it's perfect. Make sure that all of your cookies have the same amount of chocolate chips, or at least close to. Okay. Now, once this is done and everything is nice and mixed, I'm gonna turn this off before the Cookie Monster comes out. And we're going to put this dough in the fridge for at least 1 hour. You want to make sure that everything is nice and settled and it's cooled down. And once all of that's done, we'll bring it back out and we'll start making some cookies. Again, at least an hour. You could leave it in the fridge for at least 3 days, but you want to make sure that you leave them there for an hour. And after you left them there for an hour, let them come back up to room temperature for at least 30 minutes. And once that's done, we'll be right back. Okay, mi gente, so it's been an hour. The cookies have been cooling in the fridge. No, the dough has been cooling in the fridge. And I'm going to take it out now and we're going to get started with the rolling and making actual cookies. Be right back. Okay, so we have our dough nice and cool. Now, I didn't say this before I put them in the fridge, but before you put them in the fridge, make sure to please cover your cookies with saran wrap or any cover so that they just, don't get dry. And we're gonna start making balls and putting them in cookie sheets. Now, I happen to have one of these handy dandy meatball makers, which I already tried out and makes an exact, the exact weight of the cookie, which should be anywhere between 3 tablespoons, 60 grams, somewhere around that line. But this one actually makes an exact ball, 60 grams. So this is what I'm going to use to make them and roll them up. And I'm going to bring out my cookie sheets. We'll do one at a time. Now, I happen to like my silicone cover for my cookie sheets. I don't spray them. I don't do paper, none of that. This I bought a long time ago and I love. The cookies don't stick and they always come out perfect. So I'm going to continue with the way that I like to do them and use my little silicone cup, my little silicone sheet. So we're going to take 1 scoop of this and create a ball. Again, make sure that is nice and tight. Now, 1 ball, like I said, is 60 grams, so is the equivalent of 3 tablespoons. If you want to just do 3 tablespoons and roll them up, you could. I'm being a little bit lazy, so I'm going to do them this way, okay? Like if you were making meatballs, roll a little ball. And once you put it on the cookie sheet, you pat it down a little bit so that it could be nice and flat, okay? Now, once that's done, You repeat until you fill out your tray. I wouldn't make more than 8 cookies per sheet because they tend to spread and you don't want them sticking to each other. So with that said, let's continue. Okay, again, we continue getting as much as we can into the little meatball maker. I love this thing, it's so cool. Squeeze out any extra, make sure that it closes so that way you can have the exact amount, and continue. Again, this is just so that you could get the right amount of dough into the cookie. You want them to be semi-equal. This one just fell apart on me, so we'll try this again. Hold on. Again, you put it down, and I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls, each with 2 cookies. Why? Again, like I said, I don't want them to run into each other. I want them separate, and you have to flatten them up a little bit. Now, some people, what they do is before they roll them and put them down and flatten them, they roll them in sugar. That's too much sugar in my view. Some people also sprinkle them with coarse salt. If you like that sweet and savory, you could do that. Just to, make it a little different. It's on you, your preference. I am just gonna make them as is, follow the recipe, and not add any more sugar. I think we already added enough sugar as is. So continue. We're gonna get our little dough out. Again, they're getting stuck. It's making me look bad. Okay, now we have our 8 cookies ready to go. We're gonna be able to put these in the oven now. So come with me and I'll show you. And while these are cooking, you could do the next batch on your next cookie sheet, or you could wait and just reduce the cookie sheet as you go. But I like to put them in and then start the new batch. So we'll see you in 15 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 15 minutes for the cookies.
Timer set for cookies for 15 minutes.
Okay, Google, stop. All right, so our timer just went off. So that means, he told me he'd stop. Our timer just went off, so I'm gonna see how they do or how they look, and then see if maybe we could take them out already. It's been 15 minutes that they've been in the oven. It's anywhere between 14 and 15 minutes, but you always wanna, make sure they look correct first. Oh my God, it smells so good. Yes, the cookies looked, yes, on the side it looks a little bit brown, so you could tell that they're already ready to go. They're very soft, so you don't want to just pick them up yet from the actual tray, so you make sure to take the whole tray out, not just the cookies. You're gonna put them somewhere safe. And if you have a second cookie batch ready, like I do, just stick them in there. Make sure that you set another timer, and it'll work out 2 ways. And I'll let you know why. Hey Google, set a timer for 15 minutes named cookies.
Timer for cookies set.
Now when the cookies are baking here, they're cooling off here. Once they're cool, you will transfer them to the wire rack so that they could cool a little bit further, at least 10 minutes. And then when we're done, we'll try them out. See you in a bit. So the cookies are ready. We left them cool for 10 minutes. I have another batch in the oven baking, but in the meantime, I wanted to try them out because I'm a little curious on how they came out. As you can see, they're well cooked. You see the back? This is when you know your cookie's ready, when it's nice and golden brown on the bottom and on the sides. The cookie feels very, very firm. It's not gooey, but it's soft, chewy enough and crispy at the bottom. So look at that. It's delicious. Just a quick taste. That's a good cookie. I hope you enjoy our video. I hope that you follow the recipe. I'm going to leave it on the description below so you can follow it. Try it out. It's a good cookie. Have it with a glass of milk though. Enjoy. From me, mi gente, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you make these cookies and I hope you do well in life. See you next time. Bye bye.